My name is David Bowen. I'm a studio artist and educator. I make kinetic and robotic sculpture. Often it's data-driven, meaning its movement is based on some sort of input, and often the input is a natural source, like water or wind or living creatures. I have this piece titled Fly Tweet, which sends out Twitter messages based on the predilections of a colony of about 500 houseflies. I think 90,000 have been sent out thus far, and it has quite a few followers. I mean, I think it had up to 10,000 followers at one point. I'm fascinated by technology and new ways that I can integrate a piece of technology or have that interaction between natural and mechanical. I was, of course, the kid that would always take stuff apart to see how it would work and try to put it back together and always have a few extra screws. My studio practice is 1/3 of the time I'm fabricating, like I'm making things. 1/3 of the time I'm programming. And then another third of the time I'm debugging, which means basically setting stuff up and letting it run and seeing what happens. And oftentimes things break. But oftentimes that's when these unpredictable things will happen.
David's an artist who can connect a couple of different worlds. And what he does is he kind of puts into tension the differences between man-made and manufactured and natural forms.
I initially started working with natural and mechanical systems in the interest of kind of pushing a formal contrast between the two. We think of natural things in a certain way, chaos or unpredictability. And we think of mechanical systems or computer-based systems in a very logical, predictable way. But the more I work with these systems, the more I become fascinated by the ways in which natural systems can behave in very predictable, very logical ways. Plants are amazing engineers, amazing at creating structure and form. And the flip side to that is mechanical systems or computer-based systems can behave in sometimes unpredictable ways, and I become fascinated by the way they kind of intertwine and try to push that in my work.
A lot of artists use technology. Even painters sometimes use projectors to project an image from which they paint. David's interesting in that he uses technology but really pushes it to a level that not a lot of other artists are doing here in Minnesota, but even internationally as well.
In early 2013, I installed a piece titled Underwater at the Minneapolis Institute of Arts, and I created a space that gives the impression that participants or people in the space are under the surface of the water. I'm using Microsoft Kinect, which is a game controller for the Xbox, and if you're interested in games, you can use it to manipulate things on the screen just by moving your body around. But the Kinect is also a very sophisticated 3D scanner. It actually makes 3D models of space in real time. I'm pointing it at the surface of Lake Superior, and as the waves undulate the water, the Kinect collects the data from that water surface and makes a 3D model. I'm using that data to articulate 729 individual servo motors in the gallery space. So basically, underwater is recreating the complexity of the surface of the water.
When you see underwater, it's 729 individual servo motors that are connected to a lattice work that gently undulates up and down. Now, that's one thing, but each of those motors represents an individual data point that David collected with this 3D model. On the one hand, it's super complex. There's thousands of feet of wire in it. There's all these motors. There's this metal frame. So it's very hard to understand exactly how he did it. But on the other hand, it's really simple to enjoy. You walk underneath it, you look up, and you see these waves, and it's inspiring, it's fascinating, but it's easy to just walk in and start enjoying it.
My work is very inspired and very fueled by technology and the potential possibilities that are made available through technology. In the last 5 years, we have collected more data than we have throughout all of human history, just because we have all these little gizmos that are constantly collecting data. Data is everywhere, and so it's fascinating, the possibilities, different directions, and different things you can do with it.
Minnesota Original is made possible by the State Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund and the citizens of Minnesota.